Many events led to the Revolutionary War, but some of the most important were the Proclamation Line of 1763, the Stamp Act, the Tea Act, the Intolerable Acts, and the lack of representation.
King George III wanted to make peace with the natives, so he created the Proclamation Line of 1763. This kept the colonists from exploring past the Appalachian Mountains. The colonists felt very limited by the Proclamation Line and didn't understand why King George made it.
The Stamp Act was the first direct tax in the colonies. Colonists had to buy stamps to go on all paper products, such as playing cards, marriage documents, wills, deeds, and of course mail. The British Parliament used the Stamp Act to help them raise funds to pay off their debt from the French and Indian War. The colonists refused to go along with the Stamp Act and boycotted British goods. Britain finally let the colonies have representation in Parliament.
8 years later, Britain passed the Tea Act of 1773. This repealed the previous 3-cent tea tax, but instead gave a monopoly to the British East India Tea Company. The Tea Act ran competition out of the colonies by only selling tea to some stores and not to others. The colonists, in response to the Tea Act, boycotted tea and had the Boston Tea Party. The Intolerable Acts, also known as the Coercive Acts, happened in response to the Boston Tea Party in 1774. The British implemented these acts to prove to the colonists they still had power over them. The individual acts of the Intolerable Acts were the Boston Port Bill, the Quartering Act, the Administration of Justice Act, the Massachusetts Government Act, and the Quebec Act.
The primary grievance of the colonists was no taxation without representation. Many colonists believed that they were not directly represented in British Parliament. The British argued they were virtually represented with people in Britain acting in their place, but direct methods of actual representation were wanted by colonists.